Now, you might have seen on another video that I got this off eBay recently. It was just a completely random sort of recommended by eBay type item that I wasn't looking for at all. But when I spotted it, I just thought it was a really lovely example of a random piece of ephemera to do with Zoids, which you could only possibly get hold of if you were a real sort of Zoids fan and had just held onto it and presumably got it out of a boxed Zoid at some point in the 1980s. And somebody on Twitter, or possibly on the video itself, sort of jokingly said, wouldn't it be funny if you could still send off to this address and get one of the things that was sort of mentioned on this order form? So I thought, well, stranger things have happened. So I did a copy of the order form, sent off my £8 I paid? Yeah, £8 I paid because I didn't have enough tokens. I only had, this is one of the tokens, but I didn't have enough. So I sent off my dosh, and then bizarrely I got this back in the post. April Fools. Of course I didn't. It's nearly 40 years on. The company doesn't exist. I even checked on Company's House because I'm that sad. Yes. However, ironically, this was not actually £8. This was less than £8. So unlike most vintage things, this is actually cheaper than it was back in the day when you had to send away for it. But the fascinating thing is, there are actually quite a few examples of this on eBay right now, and I would guess that all of them had to be bought by people who had that leaflet that I just showed you, which is remarkable that there are still that many of them floating around the place for various different formats, and they still exist, which I thought was rather lovely. And this is how computer games used to be, and I had to smile when I got this in my hand because it's just, I didn't even have a Commodore 64. I had a BBC back in the day when cassettes were used. And it's a cassette. It's brilliant. The cassette is here. And I bet that still works. But this, for those of you who are far too young to remember, is how we used to first get computer games onto our computers, short of typing them in by hand from magazines that had the complete listing of the program code in them. I kid you not. I used to do that. I used to make my own a little bit. But this is a Zoids The Battle Begins CBM 64, shift and run stop apparently. Copyright of Software Communications Limited 1985. Brilliant. Martech side 1 and indeed, of course, side 2. It looks like it's even getting wound back. I mean, the tape is still in there, so I'm guessing that is still playable. I would imagine. I don't know whether or not it would degrade massively over time. It looks all right, but it just looks like it's never actually been running the machine because it's still on the. Or if it has been, it's been wound back very, very carefully. But it looks like it's in really good nick. And these classics of hard plastic clamshell cases. They've even got a Martech logo on it. So they probably, I don't know who they were as a company and how many other things they produced. But there's even I love that. There's even a telephone number in there for the manufacturers of the actual sort of default case. That's brilliant. So there's quite a good spiel on the back of it as well. Zoid Star is gripped by war. Blue Zoids fight Red Zoid in a merciless battle for supremacy. Accurate. Mighty Zoidzilla, Blue Zoid combat leader, lies dormant in the hold of your craft. You've got to have a pretty big craft to have Zoidzilla in it. Ready for you to climb into its command capsule to merge minds. Now that's accurate. With a powerful machine and take control of this bitter confrontation. Somewhere in the desolate landscape, the Red Zoids lie in wait. Landing preparations are complete, the descent begins. The task which follows will take you to the very limits of your capabilities and imagination. Live the game, become the machine. Awesome. So these guys were based in East Sussex, apparently. So yeah, I mean, and I love they've got this sort of the official sort of Zoids branding there. Then the battle begins, but it's quite a good picture of, and that is Zoidzilla on the front of it. It's all pretty accurate. possibly not quite the right scale, and I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to be. But that's a Spider Zoid down there in the sort of the far background. So it's quite a nicely presented little tie-in. But I just thought it was rather lovely, and you'll forgive me the April Fool, I'm sure, because you'll probably end up watching this well after April. But I don't even know why I bought it. That's a funny thing. eBay threw it up at me, and I just thought I might as well. It was only a few quid, and obviously because I've been looking for other Zoids stuff. I do have an ongoing Zoids related project, which I will come back to you on as and when it ever gets finished, because it's going to be one of those ones that probably takes a little while to pull together. But I will get to that in due course. But I just thought I'd have a little giggle and show you this one for now. So cheers for now. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.